multidisciplinary theological vision for ethical governance and hope-inspired migration reform is so much more than the title of my thesis. It was conceived in the laurels of Geylang, where God broke my heart for the vulnerability of the beautiful people who are objectified, exploited, repeatedly tricked and traded until they have no more value for anyone. People who are controlled by people who never had the privilege to enjoy a dignified lifestyle. They only choose what they are familiar with. During my first glory walk, God phrased two questions in my heart. How did you get here? And how do we get you out of the system without the risk of re-trafficking and further exploitation? These questions form the framework of my research, an ongoing pursuit for sustainable solutions that are undergirded by the law, access to justice, and the right to a dignified lifestyle. The first question is information gathering. The second question is for frontline responders to answer. From Geylang's laurels, through airports and border crossings, the protection of Southeast Asian overseas workers don't make the agenda when decision makers plan their next steps. The role of public and private sector and the body of Christ that we play all together and transnational collaboration rarely surface in a world where too often me, myself, and I is our main focus. This research matters because Southeast Asia, where labor mobility is celebrated as economic progress, the questions often reveal deeper, uncomfortable truths. Movement without protection becomes vulnerability. Opportunity without governance becomes exploitation. When mandates are ignored, state sovereignty often becomes a bully, and the most vulnerable overseas workers remain unseen, unidentified, and fall through the cracks of broken systems. Because finding sustainable solutions don't win elections, does not entice investors, it does not grow ministries, and it does not deliver a plausible return on investments. This research asked, how should faith-driven leadership respond? When systems designed to create opportunities drives the growing demand for cheap labor and become instruments of harm. Human trafficking is not only sex trafficking, child trafficking, or agreeing to be a once-off drug meal. If someone sells their cornea or their kidney and they survive to tell the story, they earn enough money to live for the rest of their lives. They never have to work again. In 99% of the incidents we were called out by government and by immigration, we responded to were labor trafficking, arranged marriages, and illegally obtained spousal visas. Therefore, this study integrates biblical theology, human rights and forced displacement frameworks, migration and visa waiver analysis, aviation and border security ecosystems, and lived testimonies. No single sector or industry can adequately address recruitment and overseas worker movement pipelines, sovereignty tensions, economic pressures on family, and insider corruption risks, and the dual role that faith communities play as both moral witnesses and operational partners. Faith is not ornamental. It is the interpretive lens that provides coherence, moral clarity, and sustained hope. For the love of Christ that compels us,